doesn't like a slice of homemade bread? I love mine toasted with butter and jelly. How do you like yours? In this video, we're going to talk about and demonstrate how to make homemade bread. Hi, welcome back. My name's Summer. I post content that helps you have a happier and healthier life. Today, we're talking about how to make homemade whole wheat bread. This recipe will make about 5 loaves. It usually does 3 large ones, 2 medium for me. Those are the pans that I have, or you can do 4 large ones, 5 to 6 medium, or about 12 small, smaller loaves. So it's up to you what works for you. I've been making this for about a year, and I usually freeze the extra so that I have it all month. So it's an easy way to save money and also to eat healthier, because I know exactly what's going into my bread. I'll also share a little bit with you about why we choose to use whole wheat in a minute. I'll be using a Bosch bread machine for this video. You can do it by hand. It will be a little bit longer and harder, but it is possible. I eventually will do some videos on a single loaf recipes for those of you that don't care to make more than one. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into our bread time. Our first step is to put 7 cups of warm water. You want your water to be about the temperature you would give for warm milk for a baby, if you can imagine. Not too hot, not too cold. If it's too hot, it will damage the yeast, and if it's not warm enough, then it may not activate correctly. Next, we put 3/4 to 1 cup sugar or other sweetener. I usually use honey. Then we'll add 3 to 4 tablespoons of yeast. Then we will place our lid and we will mix it until it's mixed enough that it's combined but not overmixed. Right about there. And then we'll let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes or until it looks pretty bubbly. Okay, so we'll open it and we can see that our mixture has become fluffy, I would call it. And the yeast is definitely doing its job. So now we'll add 4 cups of flour. Okay, so we've just mixed that in, and now we will let it sit for about 5 to 10 minutes and it will become bubbly again. Okay, we've come back. We're going to open it, and we can see that it is fluffy again. I don't know if that's the best word to describe it, but that's what comes to my mind. So now we're going to add our oil, more or less a cup of oil. I only have 1 cup measurer, so I'm going to use a 1/2 cup twice so I can continue using the other one. We'll turn it on so it can mix at the same time. Alright, then we will add our salt, which was about 3/4 of a tablespoon. I'm using pink Himalayan salt here. In this stage, we can add anything else you would like to add, like nuts, oats, cracked grains or seeds, raisins, apple slices, different spices, and sometimes you can add oatmeal. My mom likes to do like the leftovers from the oatmeal that she's made, about a cup or so, and that will help the bread stick together. After you've added everything that you would like to add, we'll continue to add flour until the bread is kind of stretchy in the machine and it doesn't stick to the sides. can see here that it's starting to pull away. I like to go in there with my spatula and get the flour off the side so that continues to be incorporated. And there always is something up here. I'm gonna stop counting how many cups of flour I put in, so let me see a little bit. Alright, I'd say we are almost there. I'm going to feel it and see if it's overly doughy. Not too bad, a little bit sticky still. However, you don't want to overdo it and add too much dough, especially with whole wheat. So I usually stop when it is still a little bit sticky. I may add just a little bit more, and then we just pray that it works out well. Alright, I think that has pulled away from the edges nicely. Now we will let it sit for about 30 minutes. At this point, you want to not click the lid in to lock it because sometimes it rises a lot and it will push against this lid. So we will see how far it goes. Let's talk about our nutritional nugget for this video. Here I've drawn a whole wheat kernel, and this is what you are using. This side is what you are using when you are making whole wheat bread. You use the whole kernel, which involves the bran, is the outer shell. It has fiber, vitamin B, and other minerals. The inside section is called the endosperm. It's starchy. It has carbohydrates and proteins in it. And then the middle inside is called the germ. It's packed with nutrients. It has vitamin B and E, healthy fats, and phytochemicals. So those are all really good things for you. And when you make white wheat, what they do is they take out the bran and the germ and they just leave the endosperm. So what you're getting is the starches, carbohydrates, the protein, but without the other nutrients. And sometimes they will add those back in, like it will say enriched white wheat or something like that. For me, we prefer to just go to the original instead of going through the process of taking out and then adding things back in, which are never as good as the original. Wow, okay, you can really see how the bread has risen. And that's perfect. That's exactly what it should do. So now we're going to turn the bread machine on. We're going to just allow it to get rid of all the air bubbles. Then we'll take it out and knead it with our hands. Okay, it can go a little bit crazy if you're not careful. At this point, I would put some flour on my hands to help it not to stick. And before you take it out, you want to prepare a well-floured surface to put this onto. Before you continue, when your hands are still clean, it's a good idea to go ahead and just oil your pans. I don't have an oil brush. That would be the best option. I think I've had a few issues with my bread sticking. So just go ahead and oil it up good and you can set it to the side. I usually use 3 large pans and 2 medium pans. That's just what I have right now, but you can make it fit into your pans however works best for you. So let's go ahead and pull this out of here. Ooh. It makes a lot of dough. Pro tip, if you have time, rinse this before it dries because it's very hard after, or you want to soak it. I need to get some more flour out here, I think. And this is feeling very light and fluffy, so that's a good sign. All right, now we're just gonna get the rest. Again, keep on your hands or in oil. Get oil on you, that's good. All right, I'm going to put a little bit of oil on my hands to help it not stick. And I didn't get flour all the way over there, so just flour your surface. And this is an important step. We're going to be kneading the bread. Really what we're doing is just trying to get the air out of it. And this is a lot of dough to work with at a time, so I'm going to go ahead and section it off into 5 loaves. Actually, I used a knife last time and that worked really well. So I'm going to do that again. I'm going to section it into 3 large ones and 2 smaller pieces. And this is very light and fluffy, so it already basically feels like my earlobe, if you could feel it. It's feeling very nice. One thing about this recipe is it allows so much time for the yeast to work and for the bread to rise that it does get pretty fluffy. Alright, so now we have our 5 loaves. We're going to just take them one at a time and knead them. You really want to just knead it until it doesn't feel so light and fluffy. It could take a few minutes, and you might even feel some of the air popping out of it. That's okay. You just don't want air bubbles in your bread. And everyone has different techniques of kneading bread. This is just how I've learned. I mainly just take from the outside and push into the inside. But there are many ways to do it. Alright, once you've got it kneaded pretty well, I like to just take it into my hand and kind of curve the edges in. And shake it a little. See, it's a nice texture. I hope you can see that well there. Then I will take, and then I'll take my pan and I'll just flop it in there and set it aside and repeat with all the rest. Then we'll let it rise another 30-ish minutes until it springs back when it's touched. And remember at this point to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so we have had our bread here sitting. I'm just gonna lift that up and show you. It's looking great, and even the little baby one over here has gotten a little bit bigger. So we'll test it. You push it in, then it will pop back out. So these loaves are ready for the oven. Our loaves in there. Now you can go ahead and set a timer for 30 to 40 minutes and get your cooling racks ready. This bread smells so good right now. Let's check it and see how it's doing. It looks like they're almost done. I have just about 10 more minutes left. You want to be careful when you're taking them out that you don't hit them or cause them to collapse in. Alright, what beautiful loaves of bread. Now comes the hard part of getting them out of these things. I have yet to do it without breaking the bottom of one. So you get the knife that I'm using right now to go around the sides. And I like to turn it over carefully. Try to tie it out so it won't move. There's some Bosch sticks, so I have to. So let's do it now. Right. Knock it a few times. It's starting to come. Oh man, I got the bottom of this one again. So yeah, that happened. So maybe I will let them sit a little bit and cool down before I try to take them out. And we'll see if that helps. Alright, so we attempted to take out this first one without letting it cool, which was not a good idea. So we've let them cool about 10 minutes. And we are going to attempt to get the rest of them out. I feel like I have the same problem. Yay! Came out perfectly. It's nice and spongy. I'm picking up on the ends just a little bit to help make sure the bottom comes to. Alright, perfectly. So, that is proof right there. Let your bread cool at least 10 minutes after taking it out of the oven, and it will come out better. Alright, there we go. We have our 5 loaves of bread. Now you just can let them cool until they're not hot anymore. You can order something like this. I got off Amazon, just some bread bags and ties, or store it however you like. I'm going to freeze most of them and put one in the fridge. Thanks for joining me as we made some bread today. I hope it was helpful for you, and I wish you all the best on your baking aspirations. And again, I will put the recipe in the description. If you have any favorite recipes or things you love to do with how to make your bread, anything like that, please leave that in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.